after reaching Delhi and immediately contact and deliver the FICNs to A4. And A1 further revealed that A3 has been taking instructions from someone else who is doing the main planning. From this, it is very clear how meticulously planned this crime was among the accused parties, and they were striving very hard to put this into motion, thus establishing that these parties are party to conspiracy. And to emphasize on this point further, the council would like to refer to the case of Ammini versus State of Kerala, where the Honorable Supreme Court has referred to Section 10 of the Evidence Act and stated that the confession made by the accused against the other accused can be used. And so, therefore, the statements made by the accused parties against one another are admissible in the present case, Your Lordship. And also, the council would like to further establish that any fact discovered in section 27 of the Evidence Act is not restricted to a physical or a material fact, but also it includes a mental fact. And this is stated in Pulukuri Kottaya versus Emperor. And to further establish this case, the council would like to refer to another case, which is Ismail versus Emperor, where it is held that whereas a result of information given by the accused about another co-accused was found by the police, the statement by the accused made to the police as to the whereabouts of the co-accused was held to be admissible under section 27 of the evidence, which can be used against the accused. And in the present case, with the statements of A1 and A2, who is Kalu and Monu, apologies, Your Lordship. A1 and A2 are Samir and Monu, and they, with their statements, the officers were able to find the whereabouts of A3, and with that, they were able to investigate A3 further. And also, with the questions of A3, they were able to find the places they exchanged the FICNs, and they were able to trace down all other material facts to the relevant case, Your Lordship. And therefore, it is very clear that in the present case, there has been a discovery of fact while the accused parties A1, A2, and A3 were in the police custody, and this is considered admissible under Section 27 of the Evidence Act. Now, moving on to the second sub issue, which is dealing with the CDRs, the officers and the prosecution has perused and analyzed the CDRs, from which it is very clear that, as per paragraph 17.16 of the Moore proposition, which is in page number 19 of the Moore proposition, there has been a table which is representing the CDR, and it shows that all the accused parties have contacted one another at some point or the other, and it is also very clear that A3 is the common link among these accused parties. And it has also helped the prosecution to establish, and also the officers to establish, that A3 is the right person that they have caught. Because when they reached the house of A3, they were able to assure the identity of A3 by matching the numbers of the CDR with the numbers given in the bank statements of A3, Your Lordship. And also, based on the CDRs, it was showing that the accused parties have been traveling to various districts of West Bengal during the previous year and 2015, Your Lordship. And at the same time, in the first week of February, as per their statements, it is clear that they couldn't materialize their deal, and and also during the period they were traveling from Agarmalwa to Pulwama, there were constant, frequent contacting between A1 and A3, between A3 and A4 to check the status of the counterfeit notes that they were carrying, Your Lordship. From this, the council would like to substantiate the essentials of conspiracy, such as the illegal act, as my co-counsel stated that it has been established in the present case, Your Lordship, because an intention is very clear with the help of the statements given by PW2, who is Iqbal Khan, that Kalu did have intention to cause harm, cause a sort of distress to the unity and to the integrity of the nation. And also, there has been an agreement between the accused parties, which is another important essential in conspiracy, where they have agreed to conspire and smuggle counterfeit notes from one place to another, and so that they can facilitate a bomb blast. And also, moving on to the charge under Section 201, when accused number 3, who is Kalu, was detained on 23rd June 2015, he was asked about A5 and A5's involvement, but he gave very evasive answers for the same. And according to a witness, he actually saw A3 and A5 together 3 days before A3's arrest, which is 20 June 2015. And this shows that he has tried to conceal a sort of certain facts that is relevant to this case, and also help to protect the accused number 5 from being arrested. And also, he has destroyed all the evidence that was present in A5's house when it was found upon investigation. And this shows that he has not only concealed the actions of A5, but also this indicates that he was a part of whatever A5 has been planning throughout the course of time, Your Lordship. And also, from this, it is very clear that these parties have been conspiring and linking their activities with the terrorist organization, thus charging them under Section 20 of the UAPA Lordship. Now, moving on to the first issue, which is dealing with the evidence that has been put forth by the prosecution to prove the case beyond reasonable doubt, the counsel would like to make two key submissions, Your Lordship. One, there was a seizure of counterfeit notes, like affirmative seizure of counterfeit notes, and also there has been a prima facie case of conspiracy established in the present case, Your Lordship. Firstly, there has been a seizure of counterfeit notes that is based on the facts and the reports received by the officers, as stated by my co-counsel, that once the suspected currency notes were seized, it was sent to CFSL for examination, and upon which they have ascertained that it is high quality fake Indian currency notes, Your Lordship. Therefore, from the reports and facts, it is clear that there was seizure. And also, since the seized substance was a counterfeit notes, which is a substance that is stated under Section 15 of the UAPA, it is clear that and there is also reason to believe that they are committed a terrorist act. It is very clear that there is a reverse presumption working in the present case, Your Lordship, which is stated under Section 43A Clause A of the UAPA, in which it makes A1 and A2 liable to prove that they have not committed an offense under Section 15. So from this, it is very clear, and it implies that the accused, until the accused proves that they have not committed an offense under Section 15, the evidence put forth to establish the guilt of the accused will stand in the present case, Your Lordship. And moving on to the second sub-issue, which is dealing with the prima facie case for conspiracy, the counsel has relied, and the prosecution has relied on call detailed records to prove conspiracy, along with the statements given by the accused parties. The electronic evidence has been submitted before this bench under Section 65B of the Indian Evidence Act, where it is stated, and as per the case of Tommaso Bruno versus state of UP, it is very clear that if the electronic evidence is authentic and relevant, the same can certainly be admitted, subjected to the court being satisfied about its authenticity and procedure for its admissibility, and it may depend on facts and situation. And in the present case, the district magistrate has already perused all the evidences and documents and established that there has been a prima facie case, and which the counsel will be stating shortly. And so it is very clear that the electronic evidence is admissible. And also, another point the counsel would like to point out is that earlier there was a necessary requirement for, not earlier, as per Section 65B, CDRs do require a certificate to be presented before the court, and the council is well aware of the same. However, as per the case of Shafi Mohammed versus State of Himachal Pradesh, it is stated that it is not mandatory to submit or procure a certificate if the device which is containing the information is not easy to access. And in the present case, the CDRs have been obtained from the mobile service providers, and these providers have such information in the form of primary evidence, which is the binary digits of the CDR information. And from this, it is very clear that the officers do not have the discretion to access it as and when they require. And from this, it is very clear that CDR is admissible, is an admissible evidence in the present case, regardless of presenting before a certificate of the same. And also it is submitted that as per Exhibit 4 and 5 of the moot proposition, a notification has been sanctioned by the district magistrate taking cognizance for the cases of criminal conspiracy to be prosecuted under section 196 of the CRPC. And also the central government has also taken cognizance to prosecute the case of UAPA, which also contains section 18 of the UAPA dealing with conspiracy as well. So from their statements, it's clear that whereas during the course of negotiation, on the basis of the statement of witnesses and other evidence, the NIA has established a prima facie case against the accused party under various sections of IPC and UAPA. And from this, it is very clear that the electronic evidence, the sanctions, and any other document presented before this bench do have an evidentiary value to charge a case against the accused parties, and is admissible to indicate a prima facie case against all the parties involved in the present matter, Your Lordship. And with this, the council would like to conclude her submissions.
I would like to ask you one question.
Yes, Your Lordship.
When the police, the special cell arrested these two accused from the train, how did they ascertain that the currency they are carrying is a fake currency?
They have sent it to the
That
CFSL.
is subsequent. That is subsequent.
Yes, sir.
I am saying at that very moment, they are saying it's a high quality fake currency. How could they ascertain that it's a fake currency?
They had already received an information on the fact, based on source information, that these are fake Indian currency notes. However, as per the others, later on as the moot proposition goes, it has stated that only after the preliminary report has been received, they were able to ascertain that these are high quality counterfeit notes, Your Lordship.
All right. सर आपके लिए सर
You said regarding Section 10 Evidence Act.
Yes, Your Lordship.
See, even under Section 30, disclosure of a co-accused, what evidentiary value is it has, we know as students of law. So for bringing Section 10 into operation, there has to be some prima facie evidence to show that there was a criminal conspiracy involved. And only then, so what is that piece of evidence?
Thank you for raising a valid question, Your Lordship. In the present case, the prima facie case of conspiracy has not only been established on the basis of the statements and the CDRs, it also the district magistrate under section 196 of the CRPC has sanctioned a notification by stating that all the evidence and all the statements given by the NIA has shown that NIA has established a prima facie case of conspiracy, Your Lordship, on the basis of their and.
See, there has to be some, not that his opinion is there. The court will not be bound by what ADM or DM would be like. They are assisting the prosecution in a way. They are part of the investigating agency.
Yes, sir.
So what is that piece of evidence? That's my query, which shows that there existed a conspiracy for applying Section 10 Evidence Act.
Your Lordship, As per
Anyway, during the course of rebuttal, something can be said about this. Let the other group start.
yes, Your
Okay,
Lordship. Yes,
okay.
Your
Just keep in mind.
Thank you. Much a pleasure. It's been a pleasure pleading before this bench.
Council seeks permission to start the proceedings.
Please do it. Please do it.
Much obliged, Your Lordship. If Your Lordships permit, the Council would like to go through the summary of facts. Much obliged, Your Lordship. On 1st January 2015, the demonetization of currency took place. On 24th February 2015, a secret information was received by the Special Cell of Delhi Police, and Farakka Express train was raided by the Special Cell. On 25th February 2015 at 10:55 hours, two suspects, Samir and Monu, were detained with 5 lakh currency found from each one of them, respectively, who revealed that they got the fake currency notes from Kalu, who is also known as Mama. The seized fake currency notes were sent for expert examination, and a preliminary report of CFSL was obtained on 16th April 2015, and which revealed that the currency is of high quality. By the order dated 30 April 2015, the Ministry of Home Affairs directed NIA to investigate the case, and NIA subsequently registered the case under Section 120B, 489B, 489C of IPC, and Sections 16, 17, 18, and 20 of UAPA. The following facts were disclosed during the investigation. It was revealed that 5 lakh FICN was to be delivered to Pulwama for attack on an army convoy on 15th August 2015. Samir disclosed several names and told that he received 10% of commission during the investigation by the Special Cell. The role of Kalu @ Mama was also revealed by Monu during the custodial investigation by Special Cell. In investigation by NIA, Samir disclosed involvement of Kalu Mama, Peter, and Sohail, who were planning to do a bomb blast on army convoy on 15th August. Monu disclosed that Kalu Mama received instructions from Bangladesh and Pakistan, and the code for the blast was "Dulhan ko sajane ka waqt aa gaya hai." The team of NIA went to search for Peter on 27th May 2015, but he absconded, and further Peter committed suicide and was found dead on 22 April 2015. A team was also sent to Malda, and it found Kalu Mama, who was arrested on 23rd June 2015. During the investigation in the police custody, Kalu Mama revealed that he took FICN from Sohail, who was the main conspirator and was in contact with leaders of Lashkar-e-Taiba. No evidences could have been found against Sohail at his house, as all were destroyed by Kalu Mama. If the honorable judges permit, the council prediction.
See, your voice is breaking up. Your voice gets broken up in between. As whatever I am hearing, it gets broken up. Maybe there is some problem at my end or at your end. Just see.
Apology, Your Lordship. If honorable judges permit, by the counsel of the accused, they have brought the case under Section 13 of National Investigation Agency Act 2008. The counsel, on behalf of Samir and others, would like to state that humbly submit that the penal actions imposed against the accused is not valid and is invalid and not justifiable. The respondents have not indulged in any of the criminal activities where his acts would have created a kind of disturbance in the society, or a manner restrained, or in any manner which is restrained by a public law and order of the state. The acts carried out by the respondent will not in any manner create a state of terror in the mind of people. The state has constructed the penal provisions only for falsely framing the respondents. The council shall be dealing with issue 1 and issue 4 of the memorial respectively. Issue 1 before the honorable court is whether the accused is guilty of the offense of criminal conspiracy or not. It is humbly submitted before the honorable court that the accused have not conspired against the state in any series of crime. The elements of conspiracy, as held by the court in many cases, are agreement between two or more persons, and the agreement should be to do an illegal act. In R versus Tolson, it was stated that under a common law, it is a principle. The principle of offense is constituted by the presence of actus reus as well as mens rea. The criminal conspiracy explicitly requires mens rea through the use of word agreement. In the present case, Samir and Monu were not having knowledge about whether the currency note is fake or real. Therefore, there was no mens rea on their part. There is nothing in the facts to suggest that either Samir or Monu had guilty intention and were indulged in the criminal conspiracy. Therefore, it is submitted that no offense of criminal conspiracy has been made, as there is absence of mens rea. In the present case, Samir and Monu had no knowledge whether currency is fake or real, and without knowledge, there can be no agreement. And hence, the very first requisite of conspiracy, as laid down in the case of National Capital Territory of Delhi versus Navjot Sandhu, is not satisfied. Also, in the case mentioned, State versus Navjot Sandhu, the Honorable Supreme Court mentioned that a few bits here and a few bits there, which basically means if the facts of the case are not connected, if the incidents are not connected, would not, on which the prosecution relies, cannot be held to be adequate for connecting the accused to the criminal conspiracy. In the instant case, the mere fact that Samir or Monu were found with 5 lakh currency cannot be used by the prosecution to establish that they were indulged in the offense of criminal conspiracy. In Subramaniam Swamy versus A. Raja, it was held that suspicion cannot take a place of legal proof, and existence of mind between the accused persons is not by itself sufficient to infer the existence of criminal conspiracy. There is a mere suspicion that Samir and Monu were indulged in criminal conspiracy with others to carry out a bomb blast on the army convoy. As coming to the fourth issue before the Honorable Court, whether the accused is guilty of the offense under 489B and 489C of Indian Penal Code 1860. As admitted by my learned friend during his pleadings, he admits that the notes were of high quality. A person like Samir or Monu, who is not a well-educated person in the field of technology or research, cannot prima facie find that the notes were of real or fake, as they were of very high quality, as revealed by the CIFN report. Also, if we come to section 489B and 489C of IPC, the allegations of prosecution is invalid, as the respondents were having about the currency notes, whether they are, and they were not to use those fake currency notes in activity, transporting the notes. Therefore, there is lack of mens rea on the part of respondents. Also, if we go through sections 489B and 489C clearly, it mentions that reason to believe to be the forged or counterfeit. I request your lordship to kindly reason to believe. How would a person like Samir or Monu, who is not well educated in the field of technology and research, one was a driver and other one was also indulged in this sort of work, how can they have a reason to believe that a note of such high quality is forged or real? Same applies to section 489C also. They cannot prima facie, or a reasonable prudent man, if he does not have knowledge about technological aspects of currency, and currency is of high quality, as revealed many times in the preposition itself and CIFSN report itself, and also by my learned friend from the accused side, it was of high quality. A person like Samir and Monu cannot prima facie find that a note of such high quality can be a forged note. Also, as told by my learned friend, that an offense is created when they carry the notes in a concealed manner, when he was dealing with the issue of waging war against the government. The council would like to submit before the honorable judges that traveling with a fake currency note in a concealed manner and traveling with 10 lakh currency notes in a journal compartment of a train, how can these two things be connected? They were traveling in a train in a journal compartment with 10 lakh notes carried in two different colored bags. There is no concealment on part of Samir or Monu. If they would have to conceal that things, they would have traveled in a special compartment of a train, or they would have traveled by some other means. Why will someone travel by a journal compartment if he wants to conceal the currency notes? That's all from the council. If your lordship are pleased with the arguments, my co-counsel shall proceed with other two issues in the case respectively.
कालरा साहब पूछ चलने दें अभी
चलने दें सर,
हाँ ठीक है ओके प्लीज कैरी ऑन प्लीज कैरी
Much obliged, your lordship.
Much obliged, Your Lordship. The co-counsel will be dealing with the issue whether the charges under the Unlawful Activities Act 1967 implicated upon the accused is valid or not. Unlawful Activity Prevention Act 1967 is a strict liability legislation with immense power vested in it to the safeguard the national security. The mere possession of the fake currency note, which the prosecution says that they were fake currency notes, does not imply an act being carried out against the state, and there must be some substantial or direct evidence of the call to violence now or in the future, which is both sufficiently strong and sufficiently pervasive to infer that any type of terror activity was to be carried out. In the present case, the accused A1 and A2, namely Samir and Monu, were found in the possession of fake currency notes which valued up to 10 lakh rupees, in which the possession was based on an information which was received by the special cell. It is essential to be noted here that when the special cell charged Monu and Samir, they included the charges of section 121, 123 and 201 of the IPC when they charged accused number 3, Kalu, who is also known as Mama. But in the present case, when the case was transferred to NIA via the order 26/2015 on 30th April 2015 by the order of a Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India, when the NIA took charge and re-registered the FIR on 11th of May 2015, they dropped the charge under section 121, section 123 and section 201 of the Indian Penal Code. It is also necessary to mention here to the honorable judges that if as the NIA dropped the charge against charge of section 201, therefore there was no act by accused number 3, Kalu, who is also known as Mama, that he had destroyed the evidence at the residence of Sohail, who is accused number 5. It is also evident to mention before this honorable court that the prosecution has failed multiple times and manifold that to prove beyond reasonable doubt that accused 1, 2 and 3 were involved in terrorist act. As provided in the proposition on page number 55, DW2, Kalu, also known as Mama, accused number 3, under section 161 of the CRPC. He clearly suggests that he has been friend with Peter and Sohail for past 6 years. Therefore, the call record details that were being submitted by the prosecution stand null and void because it is admitted by Kalu at Mama, also known as Mama, that he he is friend with Peter and Sohail, and friends do call with each other on multiple occasion or on daily basis. Relying on the statement of Kalu Mama, it was also suggested that on 15th of January, Sohail got angry and said that the government is uh, taking up propagandas against their organization, who is driving or doing rallies for the upliftment of the unprivileged. Kalu, also known as Mama, is an embroidery worker and also a union leader of the factory where an organizing is working for the upliftment of the oppressed people of the West Bengal. The council relies on the case of Mohammad Ramzeen versus State of Delhi, AIR 1980. It was discussed by the Honorable Supreme Court that the onus which rests on the accused under Section 105 of the Evidence Act is not an onus as unshifting burden which lies on the prosecution to establish every in it, sorry, Your Lordship, ingredient of the offense with which the accused is charged beyond reasonable doubt. In the case of Nathulal versus State of MP, AIR 1966, the mere facet that the object of the statute is to promote welfare activities or to eradicate a grave social evil is by itself not decisive of the question whether the element of guilty mind is excluded from the ingredient of an offense, as provided by my co-counsel earlier, that mens rea and actus reus was missing on part of accused number 1 and accused number 2, and whereby accused number 3, not having the knowledge that the currency notes may have been fake, has provided those notes to them. In the instant case, even if there is a single possibility that the respondent is guilty, and in such a case, if the respondent proves a facet stating that he is not guilty under the alleged act, then the burden of proof automatically shifts towards the prosecution. And it is clear from the cases mentioned and the authority cited by the council that the prosecution has failed on multiple grounds to prove beyond reasonable doubt that the accused number 1, 2, 3, namely Samir, Monu, and Kalu, also known as Mama, to be accused in this present case. If the court is satisfied, the council would like to pray.
Kalra साहब, सर
Sir.
पूछो, कुछ पूछना है तो.
Have you concluded your arguments?
It appears.
Yes, Your Lordship. If you are satisfied, the council would like to pray. Or if the court has
If court
any...
is not satisfied, then you will continue. Still continue.
No, we are satisfied.
Okay.
Much obliged, Your Lordship. Wherefore, in the lights of the facts of the instant case, written pleading, authorities cited, it is humbly prayed before this honorable court that it would be pleased to adjudge and declare that the accused is not guilty of the offense under section 120B IPC, and the accused is not guilty for waging war as it is dropped by the NIA itself. The accused is not guilty under the offenses under Unlawful Activity Prevention Act 1967 under section 16, 17, 18, and 20 respectively, and the accused is not guilty of the offense under section 489B and 489C of the IPC. Or pass any other order which the court may deem fit in the lights of the fact of the case and the judge for justice, equity, and good conscience. And for this act, the respondent shall, as in duty bound, forever humbly praise. The council rests its case. Much obliged, Your Lordship.
Yes, rebuttal. Team
Your
501.
Yes, Your Lordship. The question that the council would like to put forth to the defense is that the learned counsel for the defense pleads in their memorial that the accused had no intention to wage war against the government. However, as per the PW2 statement in the moot proposition, A3 was giving a blatant remark against India itself in a public gathering, thus leaving a criminal antecedent against them to prove their intention. So, how does the defense justify such actions?
Okay, that's all.
Uh, okay, I thought okay. The second question, sorry, Logic. Second question is that can the defense give an explanation about the source of the suspected currency notes that they were carrying, and also the reason why they were carrying these notes in a secret cavity in their bag, that as stated in their moot proposition? Please.
They are trying to say they were carrying, they had no knowledge of whether the notes are fake or not. Carrying money in a secret cavity is only for the purpose of protection. It's quite possible.
However, in the moot proposition, Your Lordship, as per Section 106 of the Evidence Act, they are duty bound to explain as to how and why they were carrying such high amount of counterfeit notes, Your Lordship.
No, so there is a prima facie presumption that it is counterfeit, but that is only when after you have tested. You have arrested them only on the basis of a suspicion.
And also source information, Your Lordship,
Right.
from yes.
On the basis of information and suspicion. That's all.
Yes, Your Lordship, and after it was established, they were required to justify as to how, why they were carrying such amounts, Your Lordship.
That's there. That is right.
Yes.
Sir,
See, there are few general things. Please don't mind my saying all this. When we have a moot court competition, as a student of law, one should always be in uniform. It's always a pleasure. It's a matter of pride to be in uniform. One. The other thing is probably two of you appear to be from South, while these children appear to be from northern part of India. But whatever it is, one must try to work on one's language. Not very high sounding words. One should be straight and simple when language of the court is English, and one has to address or draft pleadings in English. Then one must focus on improving that aspect. And now you have the facility of net available. How do we pronounce a particular word? It's very, very important. It's for your own satisfaction, for your own upliftment, actually. All right. Then, even if it is an informal platform, having coffee in between or tea in between, if possible, may be avoided. All right. Then using abbreviations for everything. I could understand using an abbreviation for important abbreviations. It is acceptable. But saying FICL, what does it convey? Maybe you are able to make out. It's fake Indian currency, but then just say the complete word. And then, see, we must know what stage of the case we are facing now. What is the stage of the case? Is it a trial? Is it an appeal? Is it an inquiry? Is it an investigation? See, because this is very important. When you say the respondent has not done it, who is the respondent here? Are we dealing with an appeal? See, you are students of law. You will be coming across all this. But unless you have studied, you should not use it, or you should check up before using it. Probably we are in a trial. trial commencing on the basis of a police report. So, state is the prosecutor, the people facing, they are the accused, arrayed as accused. All right. And then I have heard there is an accused, Kalu alias Mama. It is not at the rate. This is an internet age, so you may say at the rate Mama. But it is in criminal law, in this world, people use different names on different occasions to hide their identity. Or maybe somebody genuinely has a nickname also. So one may say it is Kalu alias Mama, not at the rate Mama. Just remember this. And then generally, since it is a case of trial, not the stage of framing of charge, probably we are not dealing, it appears, because I got this material in the morning, I did not have the chance to go through the material, but it appears we are addressing the matter post trial, post evidence. So, to say that one accused in his statement under section 161 CRPC said this. You see, when we are talking of an accused, it is his disclosure statement. 161 would probably be used when you are talking of a witness. Then what is the evidentiary value of that statement under 162? Why do we say his statement under 161 is null and void? See, these are few things. As a student of law, unless you focus on the right kind of language, this may more or less become a habit. Tomorrow, nobody will tell you. You are a student, I can tell you now at this stage of life. But nobody would on this platform or other platform tell me, sir, please don't use this word, this is wrong. So please try to amend all this. And then focus more on facts. Judgments are plenty. And then it is only the ratio of the matter which is important. In a criminal conspiracy, how criminal conspiracy is established, prosecution would tell us. Okay, and the more serious an offense, is, the responsibility of the prosecution increases. So these were few general things I just wanted to convey, because by the time session would be over. So, Kara sir, अब आप देखो,
नहीं sir.
Because he is more of an established
all the
lawyer.
participants.
Probably
all the participants,
ये अपने बच्चों को बताना नहीं चाह रहे होंगे, क्योंकि आप तो ठीक है. आई एम सॉरी यार, आपको लॉयरिंग का प्रैक्टिस का एक्सपीरियंस ज्यादा है, पर मैंने बच्चों से शेयर कर
लेकिन आपका जो एक्सपीरियंस है दैट इज मच मोर. टू ऑल द पार्टिसिपेंट्स, you must have heard it in the beginning of the session. Sir has been a judge. He is now post superannuation. He's been practicing doing arbitrations. So what is falling from the court, from the judge sahab,
then I was an APP, then I was a judicial officer, now post superannuation, again I am in the same stream.
So therefore the experience with which sir is sharing and trying to guide you people, it is only for all of you to understand, because these are small things which go a long way in your own career. So you need to focus on these things so that tomorrow when actually you come into practice, you are able to actually distinguish between, because otherwise there is a lot of confusion in the arguments being addressed. And that's why sir has pointed out that you have to understand how things have to be addressed, what it is. And yes, of course, I did notice that at the rate Kalu, and it is actually alias. Alias is when a person is being addressed by two names. So therefore, it is used as alias, right? So this team 558, would you like to make any kind of a rebuttal to what 501 has said?
If your lordship may allow, please repeat the questions because I was unable to note the questions.
I am saying what team 501 has said in rebuttal to your arguments. They have addressed 2 points. Do you want to say anything further, or should we
Yes,
close the
sir.
proceedings?
Yes, sir. But the question can the council, the opposite party, may repeat the question number one, please?
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, sure, counsel. The learned counsel for the defense pleads that the accused had no intention to wage war against the government. However, as per the PW2 statement, which is Iqbal Khan, A3 was giving blatant remarks against the country in a public gathering, thus leaving a criminal antecedent against them, Your Lordship. So, to prove and thus proving their intention. How does the defense justify the same?
Thank you for the question. It is to be mentioned before this
Just
honorable
read
court.
out what does your material state about this statement have? What statement did he make? Just specify. Just specify. Because your
Yes.
focus is that this statement uttered by that witness amounts to waging a war against the government.
Yes, Your Lordship.
It's very serious charge. The charge is extremely serious. So focus should be on what were the words which were uttered by that witness. What does the witness say? What did that accused utter?
Yes, Your Lordship. Here, thank you for giving such a suggestion, Your Lordship. Really appreciate it. PW2, that is Iqbal Khan stated that in January 2015, in a public gathering, Kalu made a blatant remark such as India not being a country worth living and country of intolerance. Your Lordship. This is the statement given by A3.
If the judges may allow, the council would like to reply.
Yeah, please.
Much obliged, Your Lordship. Your Lordship, the statement that the council is talking about is again under CRPC section 161 in the police custody, and it is to be mentioned here that it was when Iqbal Khan was arrested on 15th of January 2015, whereas the complete remark that was given by Kalu alias Mama, that India is not being a country worth living and a country of intolerance. दुल्हन को सजाना पड़ेगा. Here it is evident to be mentioned that Kalu alias Mama was in a fit of rage that his organization is carrying out rallies for the upliftment of the oppressed, and being a leader of a union leader, sometimes a man can say certain words which he may not mean by the meaning of by that word, but in a fit of rage. That's on the part of the council. Much obliged, Your Lordship. If the judges may allow, the council would like to do a sir rebuttal.
Yeah, please.
Much obliged, Your Lordship. As mentioned by the council number 2 of the opposite party, A3 is not linked to any of the dealing, and his bank account was of the deposit which he earned. None of the fake currency was deposited in his account. So while stating why does the council for the state mention that the money was transferred, because as provided in the proposition, it was in cash form, not it was a bank transfer.
The counsel for the prosecution has not mentioned such a statement in any of the during the pleadings or in the memorial counsel. They have not stated that the transaction was through bank transaction.
Is that correct? Speaker
The
2,
council would like to
551.
differ to the council for the state, because while providing the arguments, it was said that accused number 3 is to be linked with all the transactions that were made, and his bank account details were also recovered, in which the money was deposited. That was the statement given by the council.
No, Your Lordship,
So, on
that was.
relying on that,
Sorry.
the council asked the question.
No, Your Lordship, the
See,
council would like.
always, I'm sorry,
Sorry.
try to go by the material which has been provided. In a trial court, what is important is the record, that is the foundation, and then on this foundation, submissions may be built up during trial or even during appeal or revision, because it is still the continuation. You see, one thing, just clarify, you said PW2 Iqbal, he had made that statement. And then this gentleman, 5558, said this statement was made by Iqbal while in police custody on the date of his arrest. What is this? Was it a statement of a witness, or Iqbal, was he an accomplice or accused? What is all this? Please tell us. Prosecution, yes. Ma'am.
Your Lordship, this statement has been given by PW2 while he was representing as a prosecution witness in the present case. And he was arrested later on. But however,
he was arrested also.
Yes, Your Lordship, he was arrested for another case not related to this.
Not this one.
No, Your Lordship. So, according to his statements, he was friends with the accused parties, and he gave such a statement against accused 3, stating that he stated such blatant remarks against the nation. Your Lordship, I would like to clarify the defense rebuttal for this matter, because he stated that the council stated about the bank statements. Here, the council only used the information of bank statements just to show that the accused 3, just the bank statements were used to only match the numbers with the CDRs and the bank statements. It was not used to prove the transaction or anything, as there was no bank transaction in the present case. So the point is not present in the proposition or in the pleadings or in the memorial.
All right, sir, can we conclude the session then?
I was told this session would continue. This is for the duration is 9 to 11.
No, it's 9 to 10:30.
Okay.
Actually, the duration is 9 to 10.
Okay.
But if it spills over, then it becomes. When the extra 30 minutes are there.
All right.
If your lordships permit, the council would like to second.
Who is this?
This is speaker 1 of team 558.
So, council number 1
but,
is.
Your voice is cracking.
Yes, sir. So let me contact him, and I'll get back to the proceeding in a minute,
but
if the court may allow.
I think arguments have been concluded, isn't it?
Yes, Your Lordship.
No. If Mr. Kaga, if you think time is over, unless somebody has to say something.
Lordship, I'm unable to hear you.
Yes, if you want to wind up,
council
okay.
number 1 is back for the respondent.
Yeah, please.
Your lordship.
Team 558, speaker 1, please.
Lordship, the councils asked 2 questions. I would request them to repeat the second question which they asked, which was basically the first question. So I would like to answer that question. I request the learned counsel to repeat the question.
Sure, Your Lordship and Counsel. Can the defense give an explanation about the source of the suspected notes that they were carrying, and also a reason as to why they were carrying the counterfeit notes in the secret cavity as stated in the board petition? That was the question.
Coming to the question of the counsel of the accused, the first thing before the counsel would like to mention before the honorable court that the onus of proof lies on the prosecution. So they are the one who have to prove that from where the notes were procured and from why were they carrying so much of money. Secondly, the as I mentioned that the Honorable Supreme Court in the case of Subramaniam Swamy versus A. Raja explicitly mentioned that a mere suspicion cannot take a place of a legal proof, and there on the basis of information received by the police, there was a suspicion that they were carrying a note which was of high quality, and as I have already mentioned in my arguments, a person like Samir and Monu could not have easily differentiated uh, a, a note of such high quality is whether it is fake or real. So and also they were traveling in a journal compartment. As far as the cavity is mentioned by the council, anyone traveling with such a high amount will keep the notes in the safest pocket of the bag. No one will keep the notes in the outside pocket so they can be stored. So that's all from the council. If the my learned council are satisfied with the answer.
However, the council would like to state that during the course of investigation, as they are duty bound to explain why they were carrying, possessing such counterfeit notes, they have admitted that these were received from a source and they were aware of the same. So, don't you think the council for defense that they have a liability to justify and reason their actions?
First of all, the council would like to state that any confession made in police custody is not admissible. Secondly, if we come to another section of Evidence Act, which states that though confession is not admissible, discovery made in pursuance of confession is admissible. No discovery is made either by NIA or police, special cell of police, regarding the involvement of Samir, Monu or Kalu Mama with respect to the offense of conspiracy or other offenses mentioned in the charge sheet. Also, as stated in the preposition itself, that no evidences could be found from Sohail house as all were destroyed by Kalu, who is also known as Mama. Kalu alias Mama. So, though the confession is not admissible and the police is unable to discover anything which can relate and which can create a nexus between the act of the accused and other thing. So therefore, no discovery is made and confession is not admissible. So anything said by Samir or either Samir or Monu cannot be admissible before the honorable court.
The counsel for defense, so you are admitting that accused 3 has actually destroyed the evidence and the evidence in the house of accused 5.
It is if before
If
the
the
honorable court.
council number 1 allows, the council 2 will like
See,
to answer.
this manner
Yes,
of
yes. Council 2 can
argumentation is not acceptable. One counsel putting a question, the other replying thereto, and the first again taking a lead from there. Now the objective, this is an argumentation between yourselves. So it who is to be addressed
Apology, Your
in a
Lordship.
case? See, you have to go, the judge, he is the in charge. You have to know what his mind is. You have to see, not just putting a question to the other counsel and seeking an answer, and then is it his cross examination or are you in cross examination? As lawyers, we don't do it. It is not good.
Apology, Your Lordship.
Always seek the permission of the honorable judge, and in case he or she permits, then you may proceed.
Apologies,
ठीक
Your
बात है ना?
Lordship.
बिल्कुल सर, बिल्कुल,
Apologies, Your
absolutely.
ये बच्चों को ये नहीं बताएंगे तो कैसे होगा,
बिल्कुल सर.
है ना?
Apologies, Your Lordship. Humble
I
apologies.
don't know, time is over. time is over now.
Time is over, sir. Time is over.
Otherwise, regarding this statement of A3, apart from counterfeit notes having of such huge magnitude having been recovered from there, and sir asked a very valid question: were the counterfeit notes visible, appear to be counterfeit from a mere look at them? But the report says the fakeness was of a very high quality, meaning thereby probably to a naked eye they would not be fakeness would not be visible to a naked eye of a common man. So that was the point probably this gentleman was trying to make out. And then other thing is regarding this conspiracy. He says intolerance and not worth living, and then see regarding terrorism, that use of some force, or see focus should have been more on that. See how would you consider this statement to be trying to bring it under sedition? It amounts to waging war against the government. It's a very, see, as a student of law, today you may be on this side, tomorrow you may be on the other side, and then you may be on the third side. But as Honorable CGI said, as a student of law, go by the law. Go by what the law says. I remember of Dr. Hargobind Khurana, Nobel Prize winner. It was a long story. He went out. He could not get an employment in India. He was rejected. So merely only on this, not there must be something else, because I don't know if it is a decided case or what, but you should be focusing more on that. Both of you, intolerance. He must have used some words also, other words also. Maybe if they are read together, because each case, one fact here or there can tilt. All right. Ji, sir. Sir. Kalra, sir.
Sir.
Kalra, sir. Yes, sir. Anything else that you want to add?
This is good enough.
All right. So आप हम तो कांटेक्ट करेंगे अभी, अब हम कैसे कांटेक्ट करेंगे अब एक दूसरे से? बच्चों को तो मेरे ख्याल से सर, व्हाट विल बी द सिस्टम? देखो अब आप बताओ.
Yes, sir. I'll just
sir,
like
you
to
have mark sheets with you, so that you will have to fill up individually for both the participants.
Okay.
And now they have got this team code. So the prosecution team code is 501.
And the other one is
558.
हाँ.
So based on this, आपको वो दो sheets print करनी पड़ेंगी. I've just taken out the prints.
Okay.
So वो करके then either you can scan it or click a picture and send on WhatsApp to the group.
अच्छा, चलो वो मैं भी बात कर लेता हूँ. मैं अभी बात कर लूँगा, फोन पे बात करूँगा.
Yes, sir. As for the arrangement, as I've been informed that sir, you would be sending it by mail only because you have shared the mail ID, and also I think one of our coordinators will get in touch with you, in which you have to give 100 marks each to each speaker representing the teams. Okay. Yes, sir. So that their individual score is also considered as well as the team score when we add them together. So that will give them, the
100 is the maximum.
No. 200. I'll just a minute. Sir, the thing is like this, that they have made 6 criterias.
Okay.
Giving marks allocation is there. The total sums up to 100.
100. Okay, that's
so
the
for
maximum.
Each speaker, you will have to give marks out of in those 6 criteria.
Okay.
And the total may reach 80, 60, 70, whatever. So for both the teams, for both the speakers. Then you have to append your signatures at the bottom.
Okay. मेरी तरफ से तो सबको फर्स्ट डिवीजन है जी, सब बच्चों को. They have all done very well, barring few things वो जो मैंने बताया है. And life is a learning process. Just keep on learning.
That's right. That's right.
Just keep on learning. Future is very bright. Don't worry. Don't worry. God bless you all. ठीक है, सबको फर्स्ट डिवीजन सबको देंगे, चिंता ना करो.
Thank you, sir.
ठीक है बच्चों, थैंक यू सर. चलो.
It was
It was
pleasure
pleasure,
arguing before the honorable judges. Thank you, sir.
It was our pleasure. God bless.
Thank you for all the motivation you gave.
Judges.
Thank you.
And this.
God
Thank you, judges. Thank you, the opposite counsel. It's been pleasure presenting before you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Much a pleasure.
God bless. Sir, may I quit, sir?